Alright, are we good to go? I think that we are good to go. So, you just saw a fantastic run of Rockman No Constancy by Kumba. And now I am ColonelFatso. I'm joined by Fasted CC on commentary, and we're going to play some Rockman 3 with no consistency.
Oh man.
Alright. Sorry.
Do I have to sell your jokes as co-commentator?
Sorry. It just tickled me so much. Oh man. Anyways. I'm gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Mega Man 3. It's a really fun game. You have a slide, which is way better than a rocket sled, I gotta say. So we start with top first because it's the fastest. It hasn't always been the fastest, but things are kind of like cyclical in Mega Man 3. Long time ago, top first was the fastest route, and then some strats were found for Gemini, which made that the fastest route. And then Fasted CC, he came by and innovated a lot of strats to make Magnet first, briefly fastest, before that was dethroned a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, by Top again. So that's where we're at in terms of speed history. The big thing about Mega Man 3 is there's lots of mashing, I guess. Tons of the enemies in this stage in particular have like 6 and 10 HP. Oops. So there's definitely a lot of mashing lemons into those to take care of them. And, oops, wow, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just gonna take this really nice and slow. If you get off script in this top section, then you're pretty much consigning yourself to death if you try and do the normal strats.
It's a pretty punishing death there at the end of the stage if you take it. It's like almost 40 seconds, so...
Yeah,
a wise thing to do.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that Top is a good first stage is because Top takes double damage from Buster. So instead of 28 shots, I only had to do 14. Magnet also takes 2 damage from Buster, but it's a little bit more random, and the Yoku blocks in that stage make it difficult to go as fast as in Top. So, next stage is Shadow Man. First thing, Proto Man fight. This is all about jump mashing, so you need to be able to maintain a consistent mashing pace throughout your jump, or else you're gonna probably lose cycles. And now this is my favorite room in the game, probably.
Great. This one kind of shows everything that the Mega Man 3 speedrun is all about. A lot of just movement and precise shots,
yep,
and lag management.
And mistakes too. You get the full sampling.
That was solid though.
Alright. Ooh, I don't like that already. Ooh, wow, okay. Ooh, no, I died anyways! Oh, man. Alright.
Yeah, this section is brutal, and this is the reason why Top First was not the route for many years, after it fell out of favor. But now we get to do this every run, it's great.
Ooh, okay. Alright, so while all the pressure's off, it's not going to be a good run. At least it can be an entertaining one still.
Should be noted that the way Fatso is doing the parachute jumps here, they're all 2-frame jumps, so...
Okay, no game over, we're good. Alright,
Yeah,
so there is one danger left in this stage, and that is the boss fight. If you maneuver yourself in the wrong way while in iframes and while Shadow is also in iframes, thankfully I avoided it, but I did get the bad pattern, you can drain all of your top ammo in like one fell swoop, and then you have to finish the fight with Buster, which is really awful.
What a stage. At least the next stage is easy, right?
Yeah. So after that stage, we get to do this walk in the park with the hardest screen in the game right at the beginning. And then the second hardest screen of the game in the checkpoint.
Yeah, this first screen is Gemini. This is Gemini first was in vogue for a number of years, and you would just see people resetting over the screen for hours at a time. I recall entire screens that didn't leave this first screen of Gemini for 2-3 hours. It's pretty incredible how difficult it is, but that's executing really well on this first screen.
Yeah, that went really well. Alright, so I'm going to set up this zip. This is the only zip that we do in RTA. Basically, you just like exit a slide tunnel and your head kind of pokes into the ceiling. If you take a hit during that, then you can get propelled out to the right. Here, because we did that proto skip earlier, the penguin machines weren't loaded properly, and they're using tiles from Snake Man's stage for some reason. And I'm not going to talk during block slides. Just take that nice and easy. Ooh, hello. I almost fell down anyways. Okay, so that's most of the danger for this stage done. You can lose time on Gemini boss, but it's relatively rare to die if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, the first 3 stages in this route are brutally difficult, and you get to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief once you're through those 3 stages.
Did I really KL him? I don't even remember that. Alright, so those 3 stages are down, and now, yeah, definitely a quick breather for Needle, and then for about the first half of Snake. I guess the big thing here is, if I don't get any drops for Gemini in this stage, well, I already got one, but so I can afford to miss one Gemini shot. But if you didn't get any ammo, then you have exact ammo for the boss, which is worrisome sometimes. And the most important thing about this whole stage is not to get hit by this last dragonfly.
Yeah.
Right. If you do that, then the run is invalid and you have to reset.
I agree. That one, it's not an official rule on the leaderboard, but we're working on it.
Ooh. Impossible screen. This screen was giving me a lot of trouble in practice, too.
Didn't slow down for the needle press there, that's impressive.
Yeah, I actually never did the late swap there.
Yeah, saving the 10 frames.
Alright, so Needle's down, and now we have Rush Jet, which is very powerful, but we'll only be using it in one stage in Robots. Just because none of the other stages really get maximized benefits from Jet.
I love how you have 4 extra lives.
Sorry?
I said I love how you have 4 lives on top of
on top of the
4 lives total.
Yeah, on top of the 2 that I already threw away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Wow, that's an uncommon mistake, I would say. This first screen, it's not super difficult, but I guess I trip up every now and then. That second screen is hard, though. I'm glad that I nailed it.
Snake's an interesting stage, because, like, it doesn't seem that difficult, but, like, I don't know, there's a lot of movement in the stage, and, like, each screen kind of has something special about it.
Yeah, it's a really fun stage to play, and I think, like, it's because there's relatively low risk of the huge, like, massive time losses. It's just you could lose a second in this screen, or a second in that screen.
It's not uncommon to bleed, like, 4, 5, 6 seconds in the stage, just somehow.
Yeah. Alright, so, as you would have noticed by now, we don't actually have to fight these snake mini-bosses, we can just fly over them. You can also zip through them, but that's a lot more difficult, and, kind of luck-based what pattern you get. Like, it can be really difficult to set up on certain, shot counts.
Yeah, the stage just really showcases the value of Jet.
Yeah, so here I'm flying at the top of the screen, and I'm jumping off the top, actually. And that, makes it so that Mega Man's sprite isn't drawn, which reduces lag. But when you jump, you also screen wrap to the bottom of the stage. So there's a couple places where I have to jump a little bit lower than full jumps, or else I will actually screen wrap and cause those cloud platforms to spawn where normally they wouldn't. And, yeah. Thanks to Chelney for showing us all the light there.
Yeah, saved us 7 frames.
You know, those 7 important frames.
Hey, I'll take them. Shoni wants to give me 7 more frames, I'll take those too.
Yeah. So I did lie, there's one more use of Jet in robots, and I totally forgot about it. I guess in a strange, brief reversion to Magnet First Roots. But though one of the big things about this route versus Magnet First is that now I have Jet, and I can use it to skip the Yoku block section in the checkpoint of this stage. Oof. That was a bit slow. I almost lost a cycle. Alright. Oh, that wasn't the strat. I tried to place a couple shots on the eyeballs on those stairs so that I could get a no-stop strat, but instead I just missed both shots, and I only had 1 lemon to work with.
Yeah, that's always fun. You just cause a ton of lag, too.
Yeah. Alright. Note for any up-and-coming speedrunners, when you're flying around that one Yoku block there, do not touch it! Because, like, collision detection between Mega Man and that block will say cost you 10 or 20 frames as you're trying to squeeze past it.
Yeah, lag management just a pretty important thing in the run in general, like as showcased in that eyeball room. You want to be really specific about your shots. Extra shots can cause lag, and you're trying to remove enemies in most cases, just to remove the amount of slowdown in those particular screens, even if they're not in your way sometimes.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice pattern. Made up for
good.
Snake.
Yeah, I guess that's worth... Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, RNG in this game is not too bad. There's one particular boss that's pretty awful. But in general, you're facing a lot of bosses where the difference between the best and the worst pattern is like about a second or maybe a little bit more. And it adds up, sure, over the course of the run, but it mostly feels like this run is an execution-based one with the exception of a boss we'll see later.
Yeah, everybody's favorite boss. Alright. That's a deceptively difficult screen. You have to be very specific about your movement, because those bees, they like track to a position on screen. They don't track to a position on the terrain. So if your movement is different, their movement is different, and they'll stop at a different place, and you might not be able to hit the shot that you're planning.
Yeah, and missing the bees is catastrophic in that screen.
It's like, what, 1.5 to 2 seconds every time you miss. And can compound if you're not able to get the small bees off screen.
Yeah. Yeah, they drop 5 mini bees that cause a ton of lag.
Alright. So, we got one last proto fight for robots. Ooh. That wasn't very good. This is the hardest robot fight. Sorry, the hardest proto fight out of all of them. Just because the terrain is not in your favor. It can be very tough to get, like, a right wall kill. So here there's, like, a little thing that I'm gonna abuse in Hardman's pattern. Oops. I just got abused, actually. So, when Hardman comes crashing down on you like that, normally when he hits the ground you'd be frozen, right? But if you take a hit, like, off the bottom of his hitbox, and then he will slam into the ground and you'll take damage again, and that would let you normally skip the stun cycle, except I messed up my movement there, got back in his hitbox, and took another 2 hits right there.
Good thing you don't use magnets on Proto, huh?
Yeah, I know. That would be... we'd be waiting there much longer if that had happened.
Hardman only takes, aside from Hard Knuckle, which you obviously can't use on him in the stage, he takes only 1 damage from everything else. So, if you don't have magnets for that fight, it goes on for a long time.
Alright, so Spark's another kind of breather stage, but you can't fall asleep, because there are pits, there are things that can trip you up. Number 1, there's, like, this rising blocks room. It's actually kind of a trap, because you think it's so easy, but... it's deceptively difficult. Like, it's deceptively easy to just make one of those slides go just a little bit too long, and then you bail.
Yeah, or in particular, the 3rd block. If you jump off, like, right when you land on it, you won't make it to the next one. You just have to walk on it for a little bit. Which is, like, counter to what you, like, your intuition would be.
That was actually a pretty good stage, like, good enough pace that if I was on an RTA, I would definitely have been doing the block slides on the elevators there, but...
Good thing this is not RTA. You're actually pretty consistent with that, though.
Well, I mean, the last time I did it, I bailed, so it's not worth... Actually, the last 2 or 3 times. The only time I got it that actually mattered was at GDQ.
Yeah. That's good enough. Slide jump on, like, do single block slides off those rising elevator blocks. Single block slides in general in this game are pretty hard, because you can't jump out of a slide in the first 8 frames. But those have ledges that don't extend as far as normal ledges. So slide jumping off of those is really dangerous. But Fatso is a madman and is known to go for those.
Alright, so we got our 8 robots done. We have all the weapons, and many of them are useful, and a couple are not. We'll be heading into the dock stages, which are remixes of 4 of the normal stages, and they're packed with Mega Man 2 callback bosses. Let's see, I would classify that as a classic death.
Yeah, this first screen gives Gemini first screen a run for its money. It's pretty tough to learn, and it's not easy to execute once you've learned it. Also, it looks really easy to just fire magnets. It seems like you're almost just kind of firing them and everything just dies, but it takes a lot of practice to figure out where the magnets are supposed to be shot from, because their tracking can be a little bit goofy, and if it takes a little bit too long for them to get to the UFOs, they'll drop flames that will be obstructing your path.
Yeah, it's actually, it feels kind of gross to do that that screen sometimes, because you'll have to do deliberately suboptimal movement in order to save time later by getting a better UFO kill. Particularly for that second to last UFO. You have to jump like really high and really early in a way that doesn't really make sense.
Give it up for that flash fight. That was excellent. Yo, the PJ.
Yeah, that's brand new tech, actually. Like, only a couple weeks old. Found by one and only PJ, who's started to pick this game up. And so we did Doc Flash first, now we're on to Doc Bubble. Doc Bubble, the big thing is you need to be ready for 1, 2, or 3 bubbles. Nice. I think that was a gold stage if I didn't mess up so bad in the first screen. Alright, so Doc Shadow stage, we're going to start right off the bat with a cool glitch. We're going to despawn the music, and that's going to reduce lag. Nice. I'm glad that it actually happened, and I didn't get the, like, 10% subpixel.
Yeah, this particular setup, if you do it right, it can't kill you, but there's a 10% chance that your subpixel will be bad and you won't get the music despawn, and that costs you, like, about 3 seconds. That's how much it saves just playing half of a stage without music. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so, like, the NES is not like the SNES, where the SNES actually has its own, like, a separate sound coprocessor that, does all of the sound controls on its own, and you would load a program into that and run that program. In the NES, the CPU is the one that's actually doing the controlling of the sound. So every time that you're processing sound, that's taking time away from processing other game things.
Priorities, man. The music's pretty good in this game.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You want to ban it?
Speedrun would be infinitely worse if you had to music despawn the entire game.
Yeah.
Have to create a new category for it, but you play it with music.
Ooh. So there's 4 drops in a row there, and if you're not sliding by the time you're at the first drop, you're probably not sliding until you're past the 4th.
You went with the cry strat there.
Yeah, I went with the cry strat there a little bit. That was odd. Ooh, I'm dead. I mean, just kidding, because I got to my E-tank in time, but I would have been dead.
That was a good save. The Doc robots in this game this is where most of the challenge in the game, casually, and as a speedrun, I would say these are the more difficult stages as well. But the Rockman 2 bosses that are returning have been souped up. They have bigger hitboxes. They do more damage for the most part. And you fight 2 of them per stage.
Yeah. I think Doc Heat is the one that's easier, almost. Except...
Yeah, doing 4 instead of 8, but you gotta take damage to fight them optimally.
Yeah. And you can't do buffer jumps. Or at least, if there's a buffer strat, I don't know it.
I played around with it. I think it's doable, but it's tricky. And you want to lead them to the middle anyway.
Nice. Mega Man 3 pattern. So, Doc Air is pretty much just like normal air, except Whoops. Except more of his patterns are good. And particularly one pattern which is the worst in Rockman 2 is the best in Mega Man 3.
Yeah, Fatso got that pattern. He got 4 hits in on the first cycle. That was a really quick fight.
So here, again, so like there's 2 parts to this. Number 1, I'm jumping off the top of the screen, and that's despawning me. And then I'm actually also doing the screen wrap, and I'm abusing the screen wrap to make the dragonflies track too long. And then I can scroll them off the left side of the screen and despawn them, and reduce more lag that way.
Yeah, that was a good job with the dragonflies. The double despawn in particular is pretty tricky.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like... I'm sure everybody's tired of bike riding analogies, but once you have done that enough times, it becomes kind of second nature to time the despawn correctly. Alright, so Dock Clash. The big thing here, you do like a slide, and then you wait a little bit. You do a big fat jump, and on your way back down, then you can get yourself optimally positioned to handle the jumps.
Yeah, I actually really like that fight. I know it's over in a flash, but it's, I don't know, it's fun to execute for me.
I like this cheeky weapon swap strat on the ladder. It gets you like a free ladder jump because it's so much easier to time coming out of the menu.
Yeah, one of those neat little frame savers that Cool Kid brought to this game.
Alright. There's a cool frame saver that MCon brought to the game.
Yeah, I love the MCon slide.
Oh, I didn't get the fastest slide. I got everybody's trick except for yours, sorry man.
Rip 2 frames.
Alright, so if I get lucky on the setup here, I might be able to despawn the music in Doc Spark as well. I'll only try it on the safe pixel. Sure. No, no good. So there's a safe pixel to set that up on, where it's a 50-50 chance, and no risk of death. And then there's also a riskier setup, where if you fail it, you die, but it has a higher success rate. Except it never feels like that in runs. Shoutouts to Baron for giving me a present there.
Hey, thanks, Baron.
Yeah, Fast only has one trick.
Yeah. My contribution to this game is exactly 2 frames.
So this fight is really fun.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have to like get good at reading Quick's patterns in order to like figure out how to corral him to the center, number 1, and then also keep him under iframe pressure, right?
That was a really good fight. Killed him like dead center.
So one thing at the very end of that Breakman fight there, you saw that I let him get above the kind of like horizontal line in the background, then I paused and came back out of pause. For some reason, that actually skips the teleport animation for Rockman porting out, and saves about 15 frames.
It just immediately fades to black. Like it blows my mind that people would even try something like that. But Bought Up found that one. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. I'm not doing that meme today, sorry. So there, it's like very slightly faster to do a static jump and kill those dudes than it is to just take the deboost through. To the tune of like 15 frames. If you're like a god like Darko or Ello, you could probably one-jump those and save even more time, but I am not. Alright, so here, you kill those enemies with magnet and not with needle. Very important lesson for any but aspiring speedrunners out there.
Yo, the Fatso pause.
Yeah, there. The timing of that menu was just so that I could avoid. Oops, that was an interesting best friend there.
So this boss here is the biggest source of RNG in the game. There's a 13-second difference between the best and the worst pattern.
That was a really good pattern.
Yeah, that was... You're hoping for the Turtle Maker to go right instead of left, because you know you'll get one of the 2 faster spawns. And he got 4 out of 5 to the right. It's pretty nice. He only does that if you're not on good pace, though, so
Yeah.
don't get too excited.
If I hadn't messed up Breakman fight, actually, it might have been leaning towards old pace. Which might have been nice. There's not all that much to talk about in this stage, except for,
There's no checkpoint.
yeah.
That's something to be aware of.
Yeah, if I like bailed and fell on those last spikes, I'm going all the way back. And if I mess up Yellow Devil fight, knock on wood, then take a death there, and in that case, I'm also coming all the way back, which is a brutal death, probably the worst death you can take in the game. Thankfully, easier remains easier.
Yeah, Fatso actually came up with the one neutral slide from the wall there to take the damage boost.
Yeah.
This is really nice setup there.
It's fastest strat to like take an earlier deboost against that one block coming in, but then I discovered that you get set up pretty nicely just by doing a neutral slide after turning left away from the wall. So.
Nice 1-2.
1-2's free. I didn't despawn the hologram. If I despawned the one hologram, I was probably going to do the PJ Memorial second hologram as well.
PJ Memorial time wasting despawn.
Yeah. All right, I'll do coil zip. There's no. I messed up. I messed up really bad and lost a lot of time because of it. TFW, you don't even get through the block. If you like wiggle in a very specific way there after getting on rush coil, then you get zipped through the blocks and actually zip left, which is very uncommon in this game.
That zip is stupid. It's so hard.
Yeah, but it saves like 15 frames if you get it, so why not?
Yeah, so definitely worth it.
It's worth it when it's going to be a 35.
Yeah, that's true. Always worth trying to show off.
Alright. So one of the most interesting and fun and dynamic parts of this run is actually the refights, which you wouldn't normally expect in a Mega Man game. Because there's so many soft weaknesses in this game, and so many ways to, like, do alternative boss strats. Oops. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with it. Show off the damage list Gemini strat. Anyways, there's lots of cool. Oh, never mind. This is going to become very interesting. So I ran out of top ammo there while I was yammering on, or stammering on in my case. And so since I'm out of top ammo, I have to do an alternative route through the through the refights, which itself is another cool thing about this game, that you can actually do all sorts of different viable routes and don't lose even that much time doing these backups. It's just not quite as optimal for health. Oops. Oh. Alright.
Yeah, I've even seen some group of balls start off with Spark Shock coming in to refights.
Alright, well, that wasn't what I wanted to do, but I guess it'll have to do. Ooh. I don't like this at all. So this has been a bit of a disaster refights. I can show you all the things that can go wrong in this game. How's that sound? I need
me.
Jeez. I don't even remember these swaps in the wrong order. Alright. Just one more refight to go and then free. It's the easy refight. Such an easy game, man. Anybody looking to get into it, yeah, definitely free. So actually, that's pretty much all the challenge that there was left in the game. Just a couple quick wily boss fights, and all these fortress bosses, they don't have any iframes, so it's really easy to mash them down. Ooh, I spoke too soon.
Fatso is very much underselling his Wild Machine fight. He's trying to kill it without any lag snakes there, which is something that like 2 or 3 people in the world have done.
I don't know. I'm just like, it's the strat, man. I won't be needing any more topspin, because I'm going to be killing the final phase of Gamma with snakes.
The thing that not a lot of people do, but Fatso's done this for as long, I mean, for a long time at least, and it's faster because of the menu to snake instead of top.
Yeah.
So even if he had top spin here, this would be his strat.
Yeah. So that's Mega Man 3. In a couple more minutes than I wanted to do it in, but that's fine.
GG.
Just showed off more of the game, I guess.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun to do this. Thanks, Fasta, for helping out on commentary when I was drawing mental blanks.
Yeah, no worries. Always fun to watch Mega Man 3.
And thanks, Streiser, for throwing this incredible marathon, like, doing so much of this work all himself.